Right, we have come to the Royal Albert Dock. It's called the Royal Albert Dock now. It's just be the Albert Dock. And we're going to have a look round. And we're also planning on a visit to the Beatles story, the Beatles Museum. We're inside the Beatles story. There's concessionary prices for disabled people. Carers get in for free. And you get a little audio guide that comes with it. School photos. This is the office of the Mersey Beat newspaper. They've publicised the Beatles before everybody else knew the names, according to the audio guide.
They were trend settings.
Yeah. Don't really know because there's a security beam in operation. This is Hessie's music shop. Look at the harmonica. It sold cheap guitars and you could buy them on credit. This is where John Lennon bought his first proper guitar in 1957. On the 5th of August 1995, Hessie's closed its doors for the last time.
How iconic is that?
This is dedicated to Matthew Street, which is where the Cabin Club was. So this has been reconstructed to how it would have looked in the 1960s. We're standing in front of the pub called the Grapes. And we're inside the Cabin Club. These are the steps down to the Cabin Club, and this is what you see when you come in. It's really, really small. So when it was packed out, it must have been very, very warm. And there's the stage where the Beatles would have played. So we've got a collection of vinyl here. So we're in a record shop. So we've got this collection of different vinyl. Sound booths. So you can have a listen to different records before you buy them. This is about Brian Epstein. It's got a quote from Paul McCartney that says, "If anyone was the fifth Beatle, it was Brian." And this is his wool and cashmere coat. Here we've got a fragment of a draft letter from Brian Epstein to the Beatles, written about March 1967. Okay, Abbey Road. We're going to cross the famous crossing. Across the famous crossing of Abbey Road.
Wow.
So down here we've got the Abbey Road studio. And there's pictures of them come and taken off in stretchers. They're being arrested because they're trying to get to them. Teenagers there waiting to see their out. This is the official Beatles band club. Put my teeth in. The official Beatles fan club. A band for all ages. It says Russell Jameson was the youngest Beatles fan club member at 4 years old in 1963. He was made an honorary member of the club and was known as Russell Beatle. So these are that was his jackets for a 4-year-old. And there's some of the letters that he got there. Oh, and there's a picture of him with the Beatles. Till Mania arrives in the US. You can see here that airline seats in the 60s were much more comfortable than they are now.
Even more or less?
More comfortable.
Really?
Yeah. This is the American invasion. and he arrived at JFK.
To go on Ed Sullivan.
Pardon?
To go on Ed Sullivan.
Oh yeah, it says there, Ed Sullivan's Theatre. Were you there?
Yes.
CBS Television, Studio 50, going on the Ed Sullivan Show. This is a mellotron that was used in part of their experiments at the studio. Early demonstrations of Strawberry Fields Forever featured just John and his acoustic guitar, but John in 66-67 was looking for a different sound. Using a Mark II mellotron like this one, the most famous mellotron sound of all time was created. This was using a hired instrument at Abbey Road Studios. Abbey Road eventually purchased its own mellotron in 1968, which is now owned by Sir Paul McCartney. There is much speculation as to the actual hired mellotron used on Strawberry Fields Forever, including this one. Other Beatles tracks using the mellotron include Tomorrow Never Knows, Flying, and the continuing story of Bungalow Bill. Here we've got the film prop gravestone to be used for Eleanor Rigby in their 1995 comeback video, Free as a Bird. It weighs 50 stones, wow, and is made of solid granite. Sergeant Pepper's. And here we've got a full set of Sergeant Pepper's suits made by Noel Howard. And here we've got the Beatles Yellow Submarine. We're inside the submarine now. We're inside the Yellow Submarine. Observation point. There is fish out there. Who's up for a magical mystery tour? There's a section here about Sir Paul McCartney. Go Star.
Oh, what does it say?
It's just got different pictures about him and different things that he's done. Different awards that he's got. Drumsticks. During a recording session in Los Angeles in December 1997, Ringo autographed these drumsticks as part of a limited edition promotion. So here we've got all the different songs written down that Lennon and McCartney wrote. And there's a lot. This here's John Lennon's last piano. Here we've got a section about George Harrison, which is about John Lennon. This was the letter to the Queen that John Lennon wrote when he returned his MBE in 1969 as an act of protest. Those are his orange glasses. It's a picture of John and Yoko on their white bed. In this section here we've got lots of photographs of John Lennon.
So he's got two sections.
And a mini statue of him. So this is the, if you remember the song Imagine.
Which I do.
Yeah. Well, the video for it was in a completely white room. So this is a completely white room. So it's got white walls, a white grand piano. It's not a white carpet, but it's very light. And the guitar, this is the Indian influence on the Beatles. The music and philosophy of India was a key influence on the Beatles, particularly George. George had a significant spiritual connection with India and became fascinated with the sitar, an instrument which he studied with Guru Ravi Shankar. There's a sitar. And it makes that the music that we can hear on the background, that's been played on a sitar. And this one that's on display has been loaned by the Ravi Shankar Foundation. It's got a unique sound, hasn't it? Against Strawberry Fields.
Strawberry Field became a legend, which the Salvation Army continued to cherish and celebrate.
Get it right.
Your contribution.
We've decided to partake cake, Toria sponge, rainbow cake for John, and we're in the Fab Four Cafe. Right next to this piano, and it says, "Please play me." We're going to enjoy the cake and the tea. There's a novel place to get food.
Yes.
Street food diner. An old double-decker bus. We've had our day in Liverpool. We've had a good look at the Beatles Museum, which was good. I think I mentioned there was a concessionary rate for John and George. I got in for free as a carer. I think I mentioned that. There are steps that go down to it, however there is a lift as well that just takes, it's one of those little lifts that just takes one wheelchair, and you have to hold the button down, don't you, George, to get up and down.
Yeah.
John thought the staff was super helpful.
Oh, the staff pretty much bend over backwards to be helpful.
Yeah. I think one thing I would comment about the audio thing that they give you to go around with, it's great, it's got lots of useful information in, but if you can't see the touch screen, as John can't, you're not going to get a lot out of it unless you've got somebody there who's actually going to press the buttons on the screen as you go around.
Another problem I had with the guide as well, and it's a problem that a lot of people probably wouldn't have unless you're both blind and deaf. I couldn't hear the guide properly.
Oh well, that was an additional problem. That was an additional problem for George. I can't even get your names right. I'm sorry. That was an additional. That was an additional problem for John. There we go. That was an additional problem for John. And we went for a nice lunch at one of the restaurants on the Albert Dock here, and then we went on one of those bus tours around Liverpool, which was quite interesting. There's a lot of nice architecture around here, and I think we may come back for a longer visit and stay over for a few days, and then we might actually get to see more, because there did look like a lot of interesting things to look at, didn't there?
There really is a lot of interesting things to look at, yes.
Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give us a thumbs up, and if you don't already, please subscribe. We do upload our videos at 9 AM UK time every Friday morning, so if you subscribe you will never miss one again. So thanks for joining us anyway, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye now.